Hey y'all. Today I'm going to be working on this flower bed. Y'all seen it in several videos. I ended up in the spring. I had planted Gara in this. Actually, I did it last year, and it never got really tall. So I ended up adding a white one to go with the two. I don't know. They're kind of a pinkish red color that was already in here. But this year, the Gara got so tall. There's different types. I mean, you can buy the smaller, shorter Gara, or you can buy, the more traditional kind, which is much bigger. This one is much bigger. And we're on the back side of this flower bed right now. The Gara is actually on the front side of it. And I knew it last year that it was going to have to come out because it got, like I said, it got really big. I'm going to say probably around 4 foot tall. And so I've got to move it. And I love it. I think it's a beautiful plant. But I'm going to move it to a place that's more suited for its size. Actually, on the front side of the pool where, I said I wanted to kindly disguise the pool from, the rest of the yard. And so I'm going to dig this up and I'm going to move it over closer to the pool. And then there's 3 of them, if I didn't already say that. And then I'm going to plant a double play candy corn spirea here. I'll show y'all this. I bought this in the fall at Pack's Nursery, and I've wanted one for a while, but I just couldn't find one. I have the double play dozy spireas. I have 3 of those, and I actually have one over there on the other side of this. Well, I guess it used to be a bird bath, but I turned it into a planter, and it needs to be repainted. Lots of projects this spring, once it warms up a little bit. But this spirea, the candy corn one, it says 2.5 to 3 foot tall, and it's going to be a 3x3. Like I said, I've got 3 of the double plays, and but you can see how pretty this is in the fall and in the spring. When it puts on the new growth, it has the color you're seeing on the top, but in the fall it turns these, different colors. It's just a very colorful plant. And, pretty much all season until wintertime, and then it's deciduous, so it loses its leaves, but it still has very pretty bark. And this one, you could cut this. The more you prune on this, the more you'll get blooms, actually. Once it blooms in the spring, you need to cut it back before spring. But once it blooms in the spring, then you would just, after it's, done blooming, just come in and cut some of the, top it. Cut it back, and you will continue to get blooms. You'll get them all summer. I did it with my double plays this past year, and I actually had flowers from spring all the way till it, basically lost all of its leaves. But I thought this would be real pretty to have the candy corn here with the dozy on the other side, and the Gara is in the front, and like I said, that's what's getting moved. I don't know if you can see from my shadow, but I'm going to cut it back, dig it up, and move it, and I'll show y'all where I'm going to, where it's going to go over there near the pole. Since this gets so tall, it'll help block some of the view of the pool from this side. And you can see we still have a little bit of snow on the ground. Most of it's melted. And I'm ready for spring fever. Spring, I've got it. which I guess a lot of people probably do right now. I'm ready for spring. Okay, so let me go get some clippers and I'm going to get this cut back and dig it up. Okay, I'm just going to take some pruners and just whack this back almost all the way to the ground. I hope that I'm not stepping on some of my bulbs that are probably trying to come up out here. But this was gonna have to be cut back anyways. So I figure since I've got to move it, I might as well just go ahead and cut it back right now and get it moved, because while we still have quite a few more weeks before, a couple months really before spring, it'll sneak up on you kind of like, winter did. I was unprepared. It just kind of snuck up all up, all at once, it seemed like. Okay. And if you're going to have to move something and you've got a lot of stuff planted, I think it's better to not cut it back in the fall until you get ready to move it, because if you cut it back and you've got quite a bit of stuff planted in the area, it's going to be harder for you to remember exactly where it's at. I will put a picture on the screen of this Gara, just in case you don't know what Gara looks like. It's a very pretty plant. The flowers look like little butterflies. I think while I'm here, now, there's a lot of leaves in this flower bed. They still are in quite a few of my flower beds. Just a little extra protection during the winter time. I don't worry too much about it till before spring. I come in and blow the rest of the leaves out. And mow them up. And so like I said, I'm not worried about it right now. Okay. Oh, that looks so much better, actually. So, now that those are cut back, I'm just going to dig them up and get them moved to where I want to put them. And then I'll probably go ahead and plant the spirea while I'm over here. In this flower bed, I have a lot of azaleas. And I know if you're not in the south, you probably are a warmer zone. You probably can't grow azaleas. Look at the root on that, and I missed some of it. So there's one. These actually don't grow too deep, into the ground. You can see. And look. I don't know if you can see that, but it's already starting to shoot out growth. Even as cold as we've been. Because we've been below normal. This is the new one that I planted this year. And look at that. It's also putting on new growth. Okay. So I guess it's a good thing I'm moving them now. I'm going to go ahead and plant the spirea while I'm over here. And then we'll move to the other flower bed where I'm going to plant those garas. Now you can start gara from seed. It would be a much cheaper way. So we had several inches of snow. And this is like the 4th day after. And it's been so cold till it's not all melted yet. But I'm thankful that I'm able to get out here and plant. Or at least get outside and do anything. Really, I'm not an indoor person. I really enjoy being outdoors. That this type of, that the candy corn is probably as hardy as the double play spirea. I mean the double dozy spirea, because they're in the same family. The double play is very hardy. Like, I only watered it a couple of times, and I planted it in the summertime. So the spirea is like, you know, they're pretty versatile. Because I've got some planted where it's more dry, and this one's planted over here where I think it's holding more water, and they're doing great in the different places that I've got them. Okay, so now let's take those gara and move on over there to where I'm going to plant them. Okay, we're on the front side of the pole. I'm going to show y'all where I've already got them laid out the way I want to plant them. And I think they're going to be really pretty there this summer. Especially once they get some height on them, because as you can see, they're going to go on the front side of this crepe myrtle, which we'll walk around there in just a minute. But this side is the side that I would really like to block. While I am going to landscape all the way on the other side of the pool too, you know, that side is facing the field. And unless you're out in the field, you really don't see that side. But I'm going to put a satin area. Oh, I got so many projects coming, you know, here in the next several weeks and on into the spring. And you can see there's still quite a bit of snow in the shaded areas. But this is the side where, when you pull up in our yard, you're facing, you know, this way at the top of the driveway. And so this is the side that I really want to focus on, you know, trying to plant things to disguise the pool, you know, that's just blaring all summer long. During the summertime, the pool doesn't look bad because it is, you know, while you're not seeing a lot of greenery right now, there is quite a bit of stuff that is, you know, comes up. It's just dormant right now. And so we're going to walk through the awning here, and I'm going to show y'all. because there's actually two ways to get in here. I have this walkway that comes under the awning to the fire pit area, which I gotta replace those chairs. And then I have another little walkway, just a little pathway really, that comes in on the other side. And so I'm gonna plant these 3 gar right here, and I'm gonna have, and I think they'll get plenty enough sun, even though they're under a crepe myrtle here, because on this side they'll get morning sun, and then they'll actually get sun most of the day. There'll just be a few hours during the day where it'll be shaded. And so let me get these planted, and then I want to talk a little bit about the Shasta. You can see the Shasta daisies there. I actually have 4 of them, and you can see they're actually an evergreen. Now these are the shorter Shasta daisies. They don't get, I don't know, maybe 18 inches tall, 20 inches. But like I said, they're an evergreen here in my zone during the wintertime. And I have the tall Shasta daisies that I actually started from seed on the backside of one of my ponds. And I love them. I think they're so pretty. You know, even though they do the browning during the summertime, once the flowers start dying back, she can just whack them off, They're worth it to me. But anyways, and also the tall varieties, they're also evergreen too. And, at least in zone 7 and up. I'm not sure about under a zone 7. But anyways, let me get these planted right quick. Y'all, weeds are such a problem during the wintertime here. There's weeds everywhere in the wintertime. So just, ignore the weeds, because I will take care of that before spring gets here. I'm putting the 2 pinkish red ones on one on each side, and I'm going to put the white one in the middle. Everybody has their own taste in their gardening, and there's really not a right way or a wrong way to plant things, as long as you're planting it, where it's going to be getting the growing conditions that it needs. Some people like to plant everything in 3s or more, and I don't really do that. Some things I like to plant in 3s. Some things I like to just plant one of. But I actually like a lot of things just in pairs. It just really depends on, what kind of flower bed I'm doing, or what I'm adding to an existing flower bed. And so, you do what you like in your garden. Like I said, you don't have to plant everything in 3s or everything in, drifts, or it's just whatever you like. We don't all have, the same taste in gardening. then there's, like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just, you just got to make sure that they're getting the right growing conditions, where you're planting them in the right growing conditions. And if you don't, you can always dig it up and move it later. Hence why we're doing this video right now. But okay, so those are planted. They need to be watered in. Yeah, I guess that's it for this video. If you're needing to move anything, right now is a good time to do it too. Fall and winter, if you're able to get out and do it. You know, if your ground's froze, I know you're going to have to wait. But if you're able to get out and do it, then by all means, this is the time to do it before the hot weather hits. And so, I guess that's it for this video. Until next time, bye.